Most guys think they need a completely different custom rifle chambered in some exotic new caliber for every single animal on the North American continent. But the hard truth is that mentality just drains your bank account, fills your safe with overpriced safe queens, and completely wrecks your shooting consistency when the pressure is actually on. Stop buying into the heavy-belted Magnum hype just because some loudmouth at the local gun counter told you it was the absolute only way to ethically harvest a bull elk. We are stripping away all the marketing garbage and breaking down the top 5 true do-it-all hunting calibers that actually deliver devastating terminal performance and deep penetration without completely destroying your shoulder. And let me tell you, right now, the undisputed heavyweight champion, sitting at number 1, has been putting heavy meat in the freezer for well over 100 years and will make you deeply question why you ever wasted your money on anything else. Kicking things off at number 5, we have the absolute definition of boringly reliable efficiency with the 308 Winchester. This is a short-action cartridge that feeds on a diet of 150 to 180 grain projectiles, pushing them out of the muzzle at roughly 2,700 feet per second. It is essentially the civilian brother of the military 7.62 NATO round, meaning it was built for combat, but completely perfected for the woods. When you look at the terminal ballistics in a synthetic gelatin block, the wound channel is devastatingly consistent. Because it utilizes a highly efficient short-action powder column, you get a complete and even powder burn before the bullet even leaves a standard 20-inch barrel. That means less muzzle flash and more kinetic energy dumped directly into the target. A quality bonded hunting bullet will give you massive weight retention, expanding beautifully to neutralize medium to large game right in their tracks without turning the meat into bloodshot jelly. Now let us talk about the wallet test, because this is where the 308 really shines for the budget hunter. The cost per round is an absolute joke compared to the big belted Magnums, giving you massive bang for your buck. You can buy a box of training ammo at almost any gas station or hardware store across the country without needing a second mortgage. You get to spend all day at the range drilling your fundamentals because the recoil impulse is just a polite tap, not an angry mule that ruins your shoulder. But it is not all sunshine and back straps, because every round has a deal breaker. The reality is that the 308 has the aerodynamic profile of a flying brick, meaning it starts dropping like a stone once you push it past 400 yards. If you misjudge the wind at long distances, you're going to miss the vitals entirely. This is a solid blue-collar workhorse for sure. But just wait until you see the absolute monster we have sitting at number 1. Stepping up the game to the number 4 slot, we are looking at a cartridge built for pure blistering velocity. The 270 Winchester slings a lighter 130 grain pill, downrange at over 3,000 feet per second. This is a piece of American history born from taking a legendary 30 caliber case and necking it down to accept a smaller 277 diameter bullet. By shrinking that neck diameter while maintaining the massive case capacity, engineers created what we call an overbore cartridge. That massive volume of slow-burning powder forcing a smaller projectile out of the barrel translates directly to an incredibly flat trajectory. You do not have to break out a calculator for massive holdovers when you're staring down a pronghorn antelope out across a windy Wyoming flat at 400 yards. You just put the crosshairs right on the boiler room and send it. When that high-speed projectile hits ballistic gelatin, the wound channel is violently explosive. The sheer kinetic shock waves create a massive temporary cavity that drops medium game instantly. The recoil is a bit snappier than the .308, feeling more like a quick, sharp shove rather than a heavy, steady punch, but it is still highly manageable for shooters of all sizes. But here is the deal breaker you have to consider before making a decision. Because it relies on raw speed with lighter bullets, it struggles with deep bone-crushing penetration on massive game like a bull moose. If you hit a heavy shoulder bone, that fast bullet can fragment too quickly instead of punching clean through to the vitals. I know the heavy caliber fanboys will hate hearing this, so sound off below if you actually trust this rig in dangerous bear country. As for the damage to your wallet, the street price on premium hunting loads is a step up from basic surplus calibers, but it will not completely bankrupt your hunting trip. Entering the elite tier at number 3, we are stepping heavily on the gas pedal with the 7mm Remington Magnum. This is a true Western hunting staple built for cross-canyon performance, where the wind is always howling. It feeds on heavy projectiles ranging from 140 to 175 grains, giving you a seriously high ballistic coefficient that absolutely slices through the air and bucks the wind far better than lighter alternatives. Under the hood, this cartridge utilizes a traditional belted Magnum case design. That thick belt of brass right above the extraction groove is not just for show. It actually provides the crucial headspace needed to safely control and ignite a massive, slow-burning powder column. That structural reinforcement at the base allows you to push those heavy aerodynamic bullets at blistering speeds without risking case-head separation when the chamber pressure spikes to the absolute limit. Looking at the terminal performance in a gel test simulation, the damage is violently deep and highly consistent. Because those heavy 7mm projectiles retain so much mass upon impact, they drive right through thick shoulder bone and heavy muscle tissue with zero hesitation. It delivers the kind of raw kinetic energy you need to confidently anchor a massive bull elk or a heavy-bodied mule deer way out past 500 yards. But let us be real about the cost of that performance, because physics always demands a heavy payment. The street price for premium, match-grade hunting ammunition will completely drain your wallet if you try to make this a high-volume weekend plinker. That is your deal breaker right there. The cost to run it is steep, and touching off a heavy load feels exactly like catching a wild fastball barehanded. If you do not actively, closer to the crown, at number 2, we are bringing out the heavy artillery with the .300 Winchester Magnum. This absolute sledgehammer slings heavy .30 caliber projectiles downrange, usually packing 180 to over 200 grains of pure lead into a massive powder column. It was designed from the ground up to deliver uncompromising terminal performance on the largest, most dangerous game on the North American continent. To properly stabilize these incredibly long and heavy bullets in flight, barrels chambered for this monster typically utilize a fast one in 10-inch twist rate. That aggressive internal rifling spins the projectile violently enough to keep it flying perfectly straight and aerodynamically stable, out past 1,000 yards without tumbling. It ensures that when that heavy pill finally connects, it hits point forward with maximum efficiency. Looking at the terminal ballistics inside a block of clear gelatin, the damage profile is honestly terrifying. When a heavy bonded bullet impacts at magnum velocities, the sheer hydrostatic shock creates a temporary wound cavity the size of a basketball. It retains almost all of its mass, driving deep through thick shoulder plating and dense muscle tissue to guarantee deep penetration on massive Canadian moose or Alaskan brown bears. But touching off this cannon comes with a serious sensory penalty because the recoil impulse hits you like getting rear-ended by a dump truck. Checking out the wallet test, the damage to your bank account is definitely going to leave a mark. Premium hunting loads are insanely expensive, making high-volume range days completely out of the question for the average budget hunter. Honestly, the real deal breaker here is what it does to smaller game. If you take this absolute powerhouse into the dense timber for a standard whitetail deer hunt, you're bringing way too much gun and will completely destroy an unbelievable amount of usable meat. Secure in the undisputed throne at number 1 is the legendary 30-06 Springfield. It gives you the rugged, budget-friendly reliability of the 308 sitting at number 5, but with a massively higher performance ceiling that puts the heavy punishing recoil of the 300 Winchester Magnum at number 2 to shame. We are looking at an absolute masterclass in versatility that slings a huge variety of grain weights, from light 125 grain varmint loads all the way up to heavy 220 grain round nose bullets. Under the hood, the secret to this supreme versatility lies strictly in its traditional long-action case design. Because the brass case is significantly longer than modern short-action cartridges, it offers a massive internal powder capacity that allows shooters to utilize a much wider variety of slow-burning powders. That extra physical room inside the brass means you can seat incredibly long, high ballistic coefficient bullets out far enough to engage the rifling perfectly without compressing the powder charge, giving you unmatched velocity consistency and highly stable chamber pressures. Looking at the terminal ballistics inside a block of synthetic gelatin, the mass retention is honestly nothing short of flawless. When a 180 grain bonded bullet hits the block at 2,700 feet per second, it creates a massive, devastating wound channel that completely overwhelms the central nervous system of big game. It penetrates deep enough to shatter heavy shoulder bones on a bull elk, but expands cleanly enough to ethically neutralize a thin-skinned white-tailed deer without turning the opposite shoulder into a bloodshot mess. The recoil impulse is just a firm, steady push, nowhere near the violent kick of those heavy belted magnums. Checking the wallet test, the cost per round is an absolute home run for the budget hunter. You get maximum bang for your buck because over a century of military surplus history means millions of rounds are produced annually, keeping the street price incredibly low compared to boutique Magnum calibers. It takes the absolute crown because it is the ultimate one-gun solution, offering enough terminal performance to hunt literally anything with a heartbeat in North America, without destroying your shoulder or completely draining your bank account. Look, there is the definitive list. These are the top 5 heavy hitters that will actually get the job done out in the field without completely emptying your bank account or snapping your collarbone into pieces. You can chase the expensive Magnum hype all you want, and you can definitely argue with the guys down at the local gun counter until you are blue in the face. But the absolute truth is always found in consistent terminal performance and reliable shot placement. If you spend less time worrying about the newest exotic caliber and spend a lot more time actually sending lead down range, you're going to be a massively better hunter when that trophy buck finally steps out of the timber. I know some of you are probably heated right now because your favorite pet load did not make the cut. So drop your complaints in the comments and let us argue about it. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.